Hi guys, I'm back with a little project for you. I've noticed that a lot of people are organizing their crafts rooms and are trying to find out different ways to store things. So I thought I'd share one of the things I do, and at the same time using up some of the papers I have. I have here a couple of examples of little boxes. This is a simple, basic little box. As you can see, I made this from an A4 piece of paper. It's about 200 grams that I had printed on, and then I created this little box. This is done from a scrapbooking paper block that I cut a little narrower and made the depth not as high as this one. So it created this kind of box, and I'm going to show you this in a second what I hope to do with it. And this all started last year. I saw this envelope, I'll call it an envelope because it's flat, so it's more like a envelope for me than a box. And everyone was making these, and they're super simple, as you can see. It's just a flat box that opens up really nice and wide, which I love. And you can either close it with a Velcro closure, or you can put those rings and then do it with a string, or you can just slide it in and it's closed like this. These are really simple. And when I started making these, I thought, oh, these are fantastic. I wanted to store my dies in them, my metal die cuts. But I soon discovered that they were too flat and I couldn't store as many as I wanted to. How I store my dies is another topic, but I'll give you a sneak peek of what I do. And since they were too narrow, I decided I was going to figure out how to create something this simple with 12-inch scrapbooking paper, but that had like a depth to it. See? And so this opens up exactly like this, which is different from these basic boxes. But these would work also. After I started making these, I thought, they would also work for my dies. But I had already made a bunch of these for storage, and I'm going to share how I did that. This also can be done with a Velcro closure or those rings or whatever you would like. And I like that, once again, that it opens up large and I can fit more things in it, since it does have a depth to it as opposed to being flat. So first I'm going to show you what started this. This is how I store my dies. Under my desk, I have a small rolly cart. And in that rolly cart, I have the dies that I use the most. As you see here, here is the version of the, of the flat ones. And this is, I was storing pop-up card dies in here. As you can see, I have the dies on a piece of cardboard with the instructions in it, and sometimes a little sample if I want it. And that's fine, because that's all I'm going to have in here is this one die. So the flat box works great, or the flat envelope. And I put a little tab here with a little Velcro closure. But the problem I ran into with this version was when I had a lot of dies. I do not store my dies or my stamps by brand names or companies, because I really don't care. I want to use them. I'm not your typical YouTuber where I need to tell you every brand it is and what the number is, or at least not till now I haven't. So I like to store my items by my dies by items, what it is, whether it's flowers or circles or butterflies. So you see I have here like ABCs, florals, wildflowers, leaves, pockets, and so forth. And because of that, I will show you here. Here is, you see here. Okay. As you can see here, let's go back on the table. This is how I store my dies. I created these kind of boxes, and originally I had a circle tab on the front, but I quickly discovered that when I put them all in my cart, that circle tab was annoying me because every time I'd slide them in, it would catch on it. And that's why here I added this strip. But it's not necessary. This was a fix to a problem afterwards. And you see here, I put Velcro on it. I used, instead of the fancy little dots I had, since I sew, I have Velcro by the yard, those rolls, and I use that. This is how I keep my dies. In here, I have, it's called Wildflowers 1 or 2. And yes, these are Tim Holtz ones, but I don't keep them in their little sleeves. Sometimes I will cut them out and have a sample so I know what it looks like. But I've taken the dies and I've cut them apart, and I've cut them and placed them on some, once again, cardboard. I think I gotta look up what you guys call this in English. Let's say on chipboard, and I put magnets down, and then my dies are on here. And these boards are, I think they're 1 millimeter. They're not super thick because I didn't want it super heavy, but thick enough so it's stable. And so this is how I organize my dies. They're on these cardboards with magnets so they don't fly around. And then I have a sample, and I put this all in this box. And this way, and it closes, folds up and closes like this. And I have this nice little compact, and I can either put it on a shelf and have it labeled, or in my case, I put them in my little cart all one after another. And then I can grab them quickly and easily. I hate fuddling around with envelopes and stuff. It just, yeah, everyone has a method that works for them. This one I have tried so many methods, and so far this one I like the best, is that I can just grab the box, it opens up wide, I can see in it. But after I made these boxes, it dawned on me, why don't I make them also the same? I made them 1/2 inch high. These ones are only 3/8 of an inch, because that's usually enough. And I thought I could use this system. This would also work. These are much easier to make, but I haven't decided yet. See, these would also fit in there. Oh, in case someone asked, I had cut my cardboards 5 by 7 inches. And then I could buy magnet plates that were 4 by 6. And then they would fill up the whole thing, and they worked out perfect. These ones were pieced together from leftover magnets. But see here, this would fit in here, and it would close up. Technically, I wouldn't even need a Velcro or anything. I could put it in and write on the spine here what it is, and put them in my cart or on my shelf. They seem pretty secure in there. I'm not sure which version I like better. I've been using this one, but this got me thinking, if you know if any reason this would be a problem or wouldn't be as good as this one, let me know. I have to give it a try and see what I come up with. So I'll put these back in here, because that will go back in my cupboard. And I'm going to show you how to make these boxes. These are the simple ones, and then this is the other version. They're all simple. Everything's always simple when you know how. Okay, so what do we need? Let's put this aside. You're going to need a scoreboard. Well, you don't really need one, but it makes life easier. I have this scoreboard. I am going to need some glue. And I'm going to need some clips. And I'm going to use, I would recommend for your first, later on for the other ones, I would recommend using a pencil. I'm going to use a marker so you can see it better. And we're going to need paper. So let's start with the simple one. This one is made from an A4 piece of paper. And you're not going to believe how easy this is. Okay, we have an A4 piece of paper, but any size of paper will work. So let's see here. Let me get the... And you're going to start with scoring on the top and bottom. And for this one, I scored 1 inch down here. And then I flip it, because it's easier. Why mess around trying to count and calculate? 1 inch here. And then we're going to flip our piece of paper over. Yeah, you can see the score lines. And we're going to fold those in. And do this on both ends. And here comes the magic. You're going to take one short end and you're going to fold it over to this folded over edge. And you're going to crease. This is for people who don't want to measure and don't want anything to do with numbers. I could give you numbers, but I don't think it's important because you can use any size of paper you want and any height, and you will be able to create a box. So let's go easy. Just fold it. Now we've got this. Now we've got to flip it over, open it up, and do the same from the other end. You're going to fold it up to this edge and crease. And like magic, this creates the back spine. Now I'm going to open these up and I'm going to, sorry, I can't raise my camera any higher. I'm going to now score 1 inch. I should do it from the other side, but I don't think it really matters. 1 inch on the sides. There. And now we're going to do the same thing. Fold them down and fold. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. Okay, now we have this. And now you're going to, oh, forgot, we need scissors. Now with scissors, I need you to cut this, oops, on the short ends, this here, where the score line is, but only up to this section, and the same up here. We'll do that first. So I'm just going to trim there to the score line and trim there. We're not cutting it out. We're just making a cut. And here. And here. Now, if your paper is directional, before you go any further, figure out which side is your top. Mine isn't, like here on this, it was. So I then had to, that would help me decide where to make the next cut. So now I'm going to want you to cut here and here. Same on this side. Here on those score lines. You see where those score lines were. We're going to cut that score line. We're not cutting it out, so don't get crazy. we're just going to make a little flap. And on this score line, and down this one. There. Now, for this, I find it helpful to fold the lid back so that and press it, because then it makes it easier. Now comes the easy part, gluing it. Grab your glue, and I'm going to apply a little glue here on this tab and on this tab, this little tabby thing. And now I'm going to glue that to the inside. And let's see, how can I show you this best? Glue it right in there. Oops. And glue it in there. You see that? That makes the back wall of your box. Super easy so far. Now we're going to just continue the same manner. Now I'm going to glue on these front little tabs. And line them up even with the edge. That's where the little clips come in handy, in case your glue needs to hold them in it. So that this way I can clip this. I am using, this is like a, what is this glue? Yeah, this is from a store called Action Hairs. They're all-purpose glue. It's got acetone in it, so it's really smelly. A lot of people don't like it. I don't like the smell at all, but I like that it grips quickly. You can use the fancy, what is it called? Glitter glue. I put it in a little small bottle. You can use the fancy glitter glue. You can use PVA glue. It just depends on the drying time. This dries quick for me, so I like to use it for these kind of projects. I use different glues for different projects, but for this works. Okay, now we're going to do the top one. The same procedure as on the other flaps. Apply a little glue. Line these up nicely. And hold it for a second. Or clip it. And that down. So, that's basically the box. Just got to give it a second to dry. See? And now it will close. If you are, voila. If you are not, wasn't that easy? Told you it was easy. If you're not sure if things are straight, I would recommend, before you glue the last corner down, I sometimes will close the lid so I can see that it does fit over and line up, and then I can push this to line it up and hold it for a second till it dries. And that way I know the lid does fit over the inner part. Because sometimes we don't score or cut straight, and then it might be a little wonky. But there's the first one. Easy peasy, huh? Okay. Now let's do the thinner version. You're going to take a piece of scrapbooking, 12 by 12 scrapbooking paper. You're going to cut it so that you have a piece 8.5 inches wide. So we have a piece 8.5 wide by 12 high. And now we're going to grab our scoreboard, and I'm going to do it from the back side so maybe you can see the score lines better. I'm going to do 1/2 inch all the way around. And now you will just fold. We're going to be making it just like we did the simple box. You're just going to fold. Oops, move the side of my lid for a second. You're just going to fold these little edges up. Don't fold the sides yet. We're just doing these edges. Now take this, fold it, the folded edge like this to the other folded edge. Don't worry if it's a millimeter or so off, it's not the end of the world. And crease. Now flip it around and repeat on the other edge. The procedure is exactly like the other box. The only difference is the height of the sides. And here I'm doing this as best I can. Obviously my paper is not super straight, so there might be a tiny little gap. Don't worry about that. It's not the end of the world. Now here we can see this paper. If I make this the top, these flowers are going this way. If I go the other way, they look like this. So if this is the one I want as my top, I have to make a note there. So we'll get to that in a second. So now we're going to crease the sides. Okay, and now we can see better if I use this as my top. My design is going upside down. If I use the other side, that's the right side up. So that's the side I want. So I'm going to want that as my lid. So that means this center cut where this was, I'm going to want to cut it here. Just like I did in the first one. If I cut it the other way, then this will be my lid. Now I'm going to cut on that crease again. This little here, here, and here. You see, just little. Since these are this only has a 1/2 inch sides, where the other one had a 1 inch. It's just a little tiny cut. Okay. Now here and here. Don't cut it out. Just trim it. And there. Voila. And once again, I fold this back, because otherwise gravity fights against itself. A little glue. Ooh, that was a little too much. Cloth here. And now I'm going to glue this. I find it's easier if I do this and then press it. Can you see that? Press it down against the table and hold it a second. Da, 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 da. So how's the weather in your end of the world? We have the lovely gray, cold, rainy days. But actually, I shouldn't complain. Today we actually had sunshine, which is not normal for Germany in February, but I'll take it. Okay, now that's there. Now I'm going to do the same on these little front flaps. Voila. See, that's there, lining up those edges. While that dries, we're going to do these little tiny flaps and glue it inside. These boxes can be made out of any paper. I wouldn't go super thick because you got to score lines into it, of course. I also wouldn't use printer paper, but cardstocks or a thicker 160, 200 gram printer paper will work just lovely. Sorry, American friends, I don't know what that is in your measurement. Okay, so give this, it's almost done. I just have to give it a second to dry. And ta-da! And you see now, technically, I could put my dies in there. Because the box is exactly 5 by 7 in the interior. So, now, which system do I like better? Okay, so there's a narrow version and a thick version. Easy peasy. Now let's get on to the other ones. I'm going to start with the easy envelope version. Now let me put the lid on here. Okay, scoreboard again. And I'm doing this so that you can see this better. Because otherwise, with the pattern paper, you probably can't see anything. This one we're going to do a little different than the 2 previous boxes. We're going to score here 2 inches. And then we're going to turn it. And this is a 12 by 12 piece of paper. So we're scrapbooking paper. So we're going to do 2 inches, turn it, 2 inches, turn it, and 2 inches. Yeah, I'm going to draw a pencil in so maybe you can see that better. And we're going to do that just on three edges. What is going to be our flap, once again, if you have directional paper, make sure this will be your flap. Here we're going to have to measure a little different. We're going to turn that and we're going to measure 4.5. So you have, as you see, you have 2, 2, 2, and 4.5. Okay, that's basically it. It's easy peasy. Now we're going to crease all of our folds. Voila. So, now you have to know where to cut. Now on this one, we're also going to cut here, because this is my lid. This is the 4.5. This is going to be a long cut to this crease. And the same on this edge. Oops, to this crease. All right? And here, we're going to do just this to this crease. This here and here. Okay. Fine. And now we're going to go here. There. And there. Oops. Kind of straight. Helps. Now, once again, here comes the easy part. Oh, before we do that, this is longer. These two, I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see here. If I fold them in, you see they overlap. You can leave them to overlap if you want extra strength, or where they overlap, I draw a pencil line and then I trim off the one. But this is optional. This is just being fuss buddy. Actually, if I was being fuss buddy, I would have wanted to be right in the middle. But we're not. Let's not get totally carried away. So we have this off, and we have this. Now what we're going to do, there's 2 ways of doing the side folds. Okay, I'm going to show you both ways. For those that like to measure, once again, I'm going to try to, can I do it from the inside? Okay, I'm going to need you to take a ruler and a pencil, and you're going to measure from, okay, we need to do it on the exterior so you can see. From this fold where you, this line here where you did your score line, from there you're going to measure 2 inches inward and make a little mark. And now you're going to, from that mark to where those score lines meet at the corner, you're going to draw a crease. Put your ruler and draw a crease line. You can use empty, oh, you can, what am I talking about? You can use the boner, you can use, I don't even know what this is called, something like this, just to make a line. And then that will, you can crease it like that. And you will do the same. I'm going to try to do it on the inside so maybe you can see it better. You're going to do the same on the other side. Measure 2 inches. Draw a crease line. You see? And then in this case, you're going to have to fold it inwards on that crease line. It'll be like this. Voila. And you'll have these folds going inwards. For those of you that don't like to measure, what I like to do is I fold this little tab in out of my way, or move it out, hold it out of my way, and then I just take that folded edge and I bring it down to the bottom folded edge. You see that? I bring it down. You can use your, I usually use my finger here. Move this more out of my way. I usually put something like this or use my finger, and I line up this folded edge with the bottom folded edge and do this and just crease. It creates the exact same thing as on this side with no measuring. So I do the same here. Bring that folded edge to this folded edge. You can use something to hold that because to help the corner fold. Fold it down like this and crease. Ta-da. There we go. So we got the side folds. Now we can start gluing it. So I hope that was easy. So either you can measure the 2 inches. Actually, the 2 inches, this measurement here is the height of your sides. So if you make it only 1 inch or whatever you decide, then that's the measurement you would use. Or you just do like I showed you on the other side, just fold, match up and fold. So let's see here. I'm going to put glue on these 2 flaps. Okay. And line up my sides, put them together, press so they glue, and there. Got that in. Now we're going to do the same on these little short edges. Down. Bring it up. Match it up your outer edges. Cut edge to the outer corner fold. We're almost done. Give it a second to dry. Magic. And then if by chance, like here, I was a tiny bit off, you can trim that off if you want, if it bothers you. Now I fold this in, and this will fold. I give it one more crease, and there you have your flat envelope box. And as I said, here you can add Velcro for a closure, or you can tack it in. If you're going to tack, before that, I like to always add around the corners. But if you're going to use these with this tuck in here, I recommend on the outer edges, trim it just like an 1/8 inch, a sliver diagonally, so that this edge of the front flap can slide into here much easier. See, it doesn't press against it. Or don't forget to use your corner rounders. Makes a difference. And voila. This is the flat version. The closure I'll leave up to you. These are also great for pockets, extra pockets in journals, or just pockets to store stuff, your stickers or any ephemera. They don't take up much space. But if you're like me and you have a lot of stuff to store, you need your boxes, you need them to have a bit of a depth so that they don't bulge. Because if I put tons in here, it's going to just, let me show you. Here I have, from my book boxes, I have all my flowers and leaves cut out and put in these boxes. Now, if I tried to stuff this all in here and use this as my storage, it would work. But you see, because there's so much in there, it's going to keep popping open. So then I would definitely use the Velcro closure, or those, or I would use these circle closures with the string that we all know and love. And this is why I came up with the second version, because these boxes were too flat to hold all of my dies in there. For a couple, it's fine, but once I put all the flowers or all the circles, it doesn't work so well. Like you see here, these are all my butterflies and dies. They're on 5x7 cardboards with 4x6 inch. I bought these magnet plates. They were already cut to that size, which was great, and they were sticky on the back side, so I just plopped them down. And then, so I have all of these are my butterfly dies that I like to have on hand, because I'm one of these people, if it's too far away or another cupboard hidden underneath stuff or in, I'm not going to go get it. If I have it close to me, I will use it. So I have these, right, like I said, in the cart under the table, and I have the little, the Big Shot to the side, and then I can use it. And see, these plop right in there. Here I have 5 different things, and so I have all my butterflies together. And in here, it's too tight. You see, it bulges, and I don't like that. So that's where the gussets came in. And that's what I'm going to show you now. The last version. Okay, put this to the side. Once again, a 12x12 piece of scrapbook and paper. For this, what I did, this is a great way to use up some of the scrapbooking papers that maybe you're not so crazy about that came in a pad. You have 2 choices. You can coordinate that, pick out flowered paper for your flower dies, maybe some paper that have butterflies for your butterfly dies. Or you use the other side, and then you can stamp, you can coffee dye this and stamp you know, what it is inside, like I did here on my the books I use to organize my stamps in. And I stamped what's in there. So then I can see at a glance, aha. So that's also a way to personalize and make them look really fancy. So now we're just going to use the scrapbooking paper because I have a ton of it, especially ones that are just not my cup of tea. And it's a great way to use it up. So 12 by 12 inch. Now we're going to have a little different. Oh, once again, I'm going to do it from the back side so you can see better. Because in the print, this one is a little trickier. It's not harder, but it is a little trickier. We're going to start with, we're going to score on 3 sides, 2 3/8. And I'm going to draw, again, a line so you can see it. For your first one, you may also want to draw a pencil line. Makes it easier. 2 3/8, I'm sorry. And if you're wondering, which is this is in inches, even though I prefer metric, it's where the 2 inches and then there's 3 little lines past it. That's the 3/8. So we want 2 and 3 of these little lines, and that's where we're going to score. And turn. Sorry for my European friends. Unfortunately, my scoreboard is in inches. So there, we have those 3. And then this top, what will be our top flap, we are going to score at 4 3/8. Oops, score line. 4 3/8. I'm going to do that. Okay. So I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. So this is what your piece is going to look like. And now I'm going to, with the boner or whatever you have to make a crease, I'm going to go from this corner where these lines meet to this corner. Oops, to this corner to here. We want to put a score line there. And I'm going to, oops, once again, I'll draw that in pencil so you can see that better. Score line there. Now I'm going to do the same here and here. This is the front. On the lid, it's going to be a little different. We're going to, well, okay, we can measure it. I could have used this scoring board. Going to measure 2 inches down and 2 inches, and I'm going to draw a line. And I'm going to, in this section, oops, I'm going to draw, in this section we will be cutting out. Let me do this over here too. Okay, so let's now cut this out so we don't get confused. And now on these top corners, we're going to do the same as we did down there. I'm going to do a diagonal score line. Once again, these pencil marks are not necessary. This is just so you can see it better. Crease all of the, what you did here. Okay, there. And the 4-inch one. There we go. And now, oh, I didn't pay attention on my directional flowers. That's okay. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so now these we want to fold right on those score lines. Going inwards. You can use your finger to just going from that corner to there, and to the same on this one. Okay, I'm going to show you what it would look like from your side for a second, because I'm doing it backwards, as you see. Now you can see this is going to be, you see what's happening here? We have this. This is what's gonna, so far it looks very similar to before without cutting anything. But we want to gusset. So now we're going to have to go back to our scoreboard. And here where you scored 2 and 3/8, now we're going to do a 2-inch score line. That will give us a 3/8 inch depth. If you want it wider, then do a 1/2 inch. But I found 3/8 was nice without getting too bulky. Here we go. Oops. And you're going to do the same. This one's going to be a little trickier. It's at 4 3/8, so you're going to do it at 4. Okay, and now I'm going to fold those also. Crease those all nicely. There, and one more. Okay, so it's looking like this. This was your first one, and this is your second one. Now, if we do this, our box is going to be like that, but we need this crease here. This, the one that is with the pencil line, you can measure 2 inches. Make a little mark. And then from that mark to this mark, where the lined one and the non-lined one meet. See, right here. You're going to go to that spot. Not to the one that, not like before, just to there. You can make a crease there. And I'm going to do the same on this end to show you. Do a little mark. And once again, it's going to go just to this. This seems complicated, but once you've made one, you're going to see how easy it is. See there? Oh, this one I should have also done in pencil so you can see it. And then you're going to crease that also inward. Okay, so you have this again, or you do it like I do. You have 2 folds. The first one, which had the pencil line, and the second one, which doesn't have the pencil line. So fold your piece right on the non-folded one. So it's basically 2 inches here, and then take this edge, the one that is not the, no, that is the pencil line version, oops, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to hold my finger so I do, and I'm going to match up those 2 lines, just like you did before, and I'm going to crease underneath. And I'm going to do the same. Take the closest crease to this crease. Line that up and crease. I have to use my fingers since I can't get it. Now we have this. Now you're thinking, oh my God, I'm totally confused. Don't be. we're going to, now it's going to all come together. You see your sides? I'm trying to decide if I should do it inside out. I might do it inside out because it'll be easier for you to see. Where you're, okay, I'm going to have to fold my creases the other way. Otherwise, bear with me a second since I'm doing this backwards, because I think it might be easier for you to see. I'll try it that way. Okay, this goes in and this goes in. They all have to go in. Okay. Take your front short edge and you're going to take the front and the side, and where these the outer two, you're going to have a crease here, 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 here. These two outer edge creases, you're going to match them up. See, they'll automatically fold, and that will fold in. I'm going to first clip it before we glue it. So you have this lovely edge. You're going to do the same on the other front edge. And I clip it. See? We're getting there. Now on the back lid, the outer edge to the outer edge, and it'll fold in. Let's see. Clip it. And last but not least, this edge. And I'm going to clip. Well, I'm just going to do that for now. So we have that. And now these will automatically fold in. But before we do that, we're going to glue these. So I'm going to take some glue, and on this inner triangle, I'm going to add some, and then I'm going to add some on this inner triangular flap, just the one side. You only need to glue the one side, and then I'm going to put it here towards the front. I'm going to clip it so it can dry for a second. And I'm going to repeat this on this side. Only need to glue the one side. And before I do that, I'm going to add glue to this inner side. And I'm going to do this. Match those up and press this along here to the front. Make sure it's all matches up nice and even. You'll see the lines will match up together. Okay, I sure hope this comes over on the video. Now on this one, I'm going to do the same. One inner side. And then I'm going to do the inner flap and glue it to the back of the lid here. I'm pressing it down like, I know you can't really see, but it's easier to glue it down like that. And the same on the last side. And a little on this half of the triangle. And voila. Press down. Give it a second to be glued. Now my fingers are sticky. Okay. Voila. Normally your box will be the other way around, and you're going to see here where this crease was. This is all going to bend. You may have to help it on its first journey. But it should, these little gussets should pop out. You might, if I didn't, it looks like I didn't crease it enough. And I'm going to and the same back here. And you see when I fold it down, it creates this depth. And ta-da. So theirs are plain white and boring, but it could look nicer. And then once again, I would chop my corners, and I would attach a Velcro, or you can use, like I said, you can slide it in, but then I would trim here so it slides in without pushing against it. And you have this great storage box that opens up really wide and gives you some depth. Now you see, all these dies fit in there lovely, and they're secure. You have to imagine this being decorated and pretty, but I'm not going to show you that. Like I said, you can put the Velcro here, or you can put a little tab like I did here with the Velcro, or those, what are those? I don't even know I don't even know what this closure is called, where you have two rings and then you twist it. Oh, if you know what it's called, let me know. I can't think of the name. And there you have, and then on the side, if you store this on a shelf, you can write what's in there so you can grab it easily. Or like if it's in the cart like me, I will write the name here. So there's all of our boxes. This should help you organize and store a lot of your things, whether it be stickers or like dies like I do, or ephemera, or fussy cuts, whatever you like. Or you can use them as gift boxes. I hope you like that. If you did, don't forget to, the usual thumbs up, leave a comment. Comments are always nice, so I know someone's actually watching and listening to me talk. And don't forget to subscribe, because you never know what I'm going to post next. So I hope you enjoyed that. And until next time, choose.